Welcome, everyone, to Mondays with Michael. So good to see you. A warm welcome to all. Greetings to you from Colorado. I'm Dr. Michael Gady, your host. That was an original. Oh, hang on. We have a guest calling in one second. Okay, sorry for that. Today's guest, unfortunately, has fallen ill. And we're going to have some time together. And then a guest that was going to appear a month from now happens to be available. So we've got it's a live show, so all kinds of things happen sometimes. So we are sending our blessings and well-being and good chi, as we say in Chinese medicine, to today's guest, Alex Meyer. She is not feeling well. She has taken ill, so we are sending her lots of well wishes. We have an amazing guest that happened to be available on like zero notice. So we're going to be hearing from Dr. Sanjeep Kumar today, who's got an amazing story. So, with that, a warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for being here today. We're streaming to several different platforms. If you'd like to introduce yourself, please do. We'd love to hear from you. And we're going to get started. I've got some things to share, and I'm going to do a little bit of teaching today. We haven't done that in a little while. Some health stuff, I guess you'd say. And then and then at some point when he is here with us, we will be hearing from Dr. Kumar. So, again, a warm welcome. This is an offering of the Gata Institute for Holistic Health Education. Our motto here is Nature First, Drugs Last. We're devoted to co-creating with you a culture of nature first, drugs last. Again, pharma drugs aren't bad. They're just ridiculously overused, and there's a natural solution at least 95% of the time. So welcome to show number 321 for this June 22nd. And delighted to be with you today. In just 2 weeks, we have a very special happy birthday, happy 250th birthday America show. We've got a remarkable panel of guests that's going to be on. You really don't want to miss that. Please put that in your calendars. Invite everybody you know. We're having new guests say yes to being on this special show to commemorate America's 250th birthday, a very special event that we will only see once in our lifetime. And so that's going to be just great. So we're going to be rescheduling this remarkable lady. She is absolutely incredible, brilliant, courageous, just super smart and very effective in advancing health freedom. So we were going to be talking about, and we will be talking about when we have her rescheduled. But please, just so you have a little photo to send the good chi to, send Alex some healing vibes, some good chi, some healing thoughts, prayers, blessings to Alex. She's not feeling good today. So you can see her organization, the Free Now Foundation.org. So that's that. A couple of announcements. We have class number 3 today with Greg Mitchell, Decoding the Heart, Clinical Nutrition for Cardiovascular Vitality. Please join us. The first 2 classes were recorded. I'll be teaching the last class. And use your Mondays with Michael discount code MWM10. And then we are still have a little bit of time left for our early bird discount. If you're a practitioner, you'll be very glad you joined us here in Colorado for our 11th annual Love, Serve, and Succeed Colorado Retreat and Intensive. That is coming up in just a couple of months, and it's going to be awesome. So really looking forward to that. As always, if you are on our watch page at michaelgaeta.com/watch or in our Zoom chat, happy to answer your questions, whatever questions you have for myself or later on for Dr. Kumar. Please don't be shy, just jump in on that. Great to see you, Amy, Richard, Sabine, and everybody else who's online with us on whatever platform you're on. We're on about 9 different platforms today and pages. So yeah, it is good to be with you. So with that, let's see. Oh yes, and if you have not had a consultation here in the last year, it's time to have a checkup or an evaluation if you haven't had one, just to do a good, thorough functional medicine, Chinese medicine checkup and review your labs, diet, lifestyle, supplementation, herbal medicine. All of these things are just a good thing to do for everybody at least once a year. And if there's stuff going on, you might need some follow up, but at least a maintenance visit, a preventative visit, just go to michaelgaeta.com and then go to clinic and then patients right at the top. Or if you just have some questions about your health, just you can schedule just a simple 30-minute consult, if not a full evaluation. And if you're a practitioner and haven't taken our functional medicine program, it's wonderful. We're in our 15th year. It's a great program. We've helped lots of practitioners do a lot of good for people. So with that, we've got some time together today that we often don't have because we have so many wonderful guests coming up. It's just amazing. And also just a reminder, we have we have a new show page image that I'm experimenting with. Let me know what you think in the chat. This is our show page at michaelgaeta.com/MWM. And then we put in some of our past guests on this version of the image. Some wonderful conversation. Just looking at the faces reminds me of these wonderful conversations. So next week, a little bit of different type of guest. We're going to be talking a little bit about governmental issues, something we usually don't talk about. We're going to be talking to Ian Trottier, author of High Stakes Treason, next week. So that's going to be, and then Sanjeev Kumar, who was going to be on next week, is going to be on in just a few minutes. So he will be with us today instead of next week, which is pretty awesome. And then we have a great July 4th, happy anniversary, America, happy birthday, America, 250th sesquicentennial, semi-sesquicentennial show on July 6th. That's just going to be an homage to our wonderful country. And please join us for that. We're going to have some patriotic music and just it's going to be a great show. All right. So, oh, thanks, Amy. Appreciate it. That was Erin, our marketing gal, redesigned the page a bit, quite a bit actually. Looks great, and I just was toying with the show page image with some past guests. So, anyway, glad you like it. All right. So, with that, I wanted to share just a little bit about this is a topic we've been talking about in our and actually, you know what? Yeah, this is a topic I just recently taught, and it's such an important topic. We're going to be devoting a big chunk of our herbal summer school. If you don't have that in your schedule, please do. We have an amazing program laid out for you this year. For this year, this is our, let's see, this will be our 7th annual herbal summer school, which is just going to be great. August 14th and 15th. Details to follow. We have one unconfirmed speaker, but we do have confirmed Donnie Yance, who's one of the greatest herbalists and herbal educators in the world, along with myself and Charlotte Keichel, and one additional herbal faculty to be announced. But I'm going to be talking about this herb in quite a bit of depth But I did want to wanted to give you a little bit of something on that today, since we have time to do so, which is kind of cool. So this is a remarkable herb I'm going to be talking about. So it's just a health topic. We haven't done a health topic in a little while. And this is an herb that I wanted to just introduce today, which is called Boswellia serrata, which is the source among 25 different trees of what we call frankincense. And I thought that would be a great thing since we have the time to talk about it a bit today until Dr. Kumar joins us. So a little bit of a health talk today. Thought that might be kind of fun. And here we go. So this is a sacred resin, modern medicine. And this is just a short excerpt from a much longer presentation. It's going to be several hours on this herb, probably 3 to 4 hours on this herb during Herbal Summer School. But I wanted to give you a little introduction to it so you can start to use it now before August. It'll be in 2 months from now. We're going to be talking about this herb in detail in Herbal Summer School. But that's what it looks like. You'll see here, this is, SP equivalent to black seed. Yeah, it's called Black Cumin Seed Forte, Richard. Great question. And let me get that for you. Black cumin seed forte is superb, and that is also known as black seed. And it's one of my favorite herbs. I've taught quite a bit about that herb because it's just so wonderful. And it's not our topic today, but I did want to give you today, I recorded a short course on black cumin seed, a 3-part course, which I love to give to you folks as a gift. It's free for being here. And I'll put that in our Zoom chat. And also on our watch page, we'll be able to do that. And let me get this for you. Here it is. Yeah, so this is, yeah, here it is. So here's the link. Just click on this link, and it's a free course on black cumin seed, sometimes called black seed or black cumin. Goes by a few different names. And also, if you, I take this herb every day preventatively, just as a wellness preventative sort of herb. And it's just wonderful. So I'll give you the link to this herb, as well as to the herb I'm just about to talk about, which is Boswellia serrata. So here's black cumin seed forte. This is a superb, probably the best black cumin product in the world. You don't want the oil. That's a fraction. It's not the full spectrum. You want the full spectrum tablet would be much better. So that's that. And that's and again, it's a one a day maintenance, prevention, well-being. And I've noticed a great difference since doing that. And then the Boswellia formula, there's 2 of them I'm going to be talking about in a moment. There are 2 formulas that have a robust amount. One is for inflammation, especially gut and joint inflammation. The other is for the brain. They're both Boswellia formulas, but one is a little more generalized inflammation or joint inflammation like arthritis, gut inflammation like ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease, any inflammatory bowel condition, or just generalized inflammation. The second one, Neuroregenix, is a little more specific for the brain. So I'll start with that, and then we'll back into the herb. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And you'll see what a good label looks like also, an herbal label. Most herbal labels are terrible, but the MediHerb does it right. So here's the herb that we're going to talk about now, Boswellia gum oleae resin, 7-to-1 extract. And they tell you how much, and this is 1 tablet, that's an important thing to look at. and they tell you how much starting dried herb they begin with, in this case, 1.9 grams. And then at 7 to 1, they concentrate it 7 to 1, you get that 1.9 grams becomes 277 milligrams, full spectrum, concentrated into the finished product, and they standardize to boswellic acids. The most famous ACBA, which is the abbreviation, AKBA. And then there are 3 other herbs that are wonderful for inflammation as well as circulation. And also gout, celery seed might be one of the better, is easily one of the best herbs for gout and kidney trouble in general. So that's the first formula for this in this way. And then and this is, sort of an inflammation anywhere, but especially in the gut and joints, but really anywhere. The other formula is Neuroregenix. Also, this is a newer formula. It's beautifully designed, like really nicely done. And you'll notice here in 2 tablets, you got to pay attention to serving size. There's 2 grams of Boswellia at a 23 to 1. Much more highly concentrated, but still full spectrum, concentrated into 88 milligrams. But then you have, and this is a fenugreek complexed Boswellia, so it works even better at a lower dose. And then the turmeric is also a fenugreek complex turmeric. And then gotukola, wonderful brain herb, also circulation, buplurum, wonderful for inflammation. Many of these herbs also address brain regeneration with BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor. And I've just seen clinically with patients, they just do really well. They just feel better in many different ways. So anyway, that was just kind of the punchline there. And then we'll get into the details of this herb. And I'm just going to track our chat for our guest when he arrives. And here it is. Okay. So this is what it looks like. This is frankincense. Frankincense isn't an herb. It's the resin exuded by the bark of about 25-ish different trees that make frankincense. So frankincense is this stuff. This is a very high grade frankincense, by the way, which is when the tree is wounded, it exudes this healing substance out of its bark to heal the wound, and then we collect some of it and use it medicinally. So it's quite a remarkable herb with a very, very long tradition of use. We've got a Zoom freeze. Let's get back in. Okay. So, okay, there it is. Okay. So this is, we'll skip through all that. And this is the introduction, Okay, here we go. So Boswellia serrata. This has been used for over 5,000 years. Some estimates have it being used for over 6,000, 6 millennia. Very long time. As of last month, there were 1,147 PubMed publications, over almost 17,000 Google Scholar articles on this one herb. This is the chief or the most famous of the boswellic acids. The BA is boswellic acid. And then 5-lipoxygenase is this herb is probably the best 5-lipoxygenase modulator in the world, pharmaceutical or natural. It's remarkable how effective it is, which makes it very useful for certain types of inflammation, what we call leukotriene-mediated inflammation, which has a lot to do with the gut and the joints. So that is that. It's like we've got another Zoom freeze. And then, okay. So let's look at just an overview of this herb. It's really, I spent several months preparing this presentation. I'm really using this herb a lot more and with patients as a result, because it's really remarkable. This is what the tree looks like in India. This is an image of the tree that from India. So Boswellia serrata, well, what does that mean? Well, it means Indian frankincense tree. Now, the Boswellia, you might say, well, that's kind of a weird. Why Boswellia? Well, it's to honor the Scottish botanist John Boswell, who discovered certain species of trees that produce or exude frankincense. So it's not like he discovered the plant. The plant had been used, the tree had been used for thousands of years, but he was honored by having his name be the basis for the first part of the name, Boswellia, to honor John Boswell. Serrata, this is the second part, and there's different Boswellias. There's Boswellia sacra and many other types of Boswellia. But if you see here, you can see it a little bit. It has serrated edges on the leaf. This is a very type of plant that has parallel leaves sticking out of each side of the stem. And these leaves have little serrations, little edges, like a serrated knife. And that's where the serrata comes from. That's the name, the derivation of the name. Now, okay. Oh boy, God. Zoom is just really misbehaving today. That's all right. Adapt. And let's see. Okay. Here it is. Okay. So let's look at the history of Boswellia serrata. And there's another view. This is very high grade stuff. This image is a very high grade Boswellia. It comes in different grades. And this is very, very high grade stuff. So in ancient India, it was described in their medical texts as treating joint disorders, what we might call arthritis today, skin diseases, and fevers. And it's very interesting. Back then, they just somehow knew to prepare the herb in milk. And now we know today, the modern science tells us that the boswellic acid absorption or uptake by the body is much greater when you take this herb with fat. So I recommend taking it with meals or at least a supplement that's made of fat. So that's very interesting. And then you'll see in Unani medicine, which is Greco-Arabian medicine, again, going back thousands of years, and the famous healer Avicenna, we refer to him a lot, including with black cumin seed. He loved black cumin seed. I believe he's the guy who referred to it as the remedy for all diseases but death, for black cumin seed. And so in the canon of medicine, this was listed as one of the treatments for tumors, fevers, ulcers, and chest complaints. We all know frankincense as one of the gifts of the three magi, or wise men, or kings, to the baby Jesus when he was a kid. And to this day is used in ritual in a range of religious traditions. Growing up Catholic, I will always remember the smell of the frankincense. The priest will kind of use the incense, which this is used for, in certain parts of the Mass. There's one or two times where he'll kind of, you'll see these clouds of smoke and, he's lighting frankincense, typically. And in Africa, this is also an African herb. Different, this is Boswellia papifera and Boswellia carteri. they used these variations, all frankincense, but just different trees, producing a slightly different version. And then the first anti-inflammatory mechanism was published. This is now 40 years ago on this herb. And then a few years later, they identified 5-lipoxygenase as one of the pathways, inflammatory pathways that were targeted. And then they also found that one of the compounds in the plant reduces anxiety, which is pretty remarkable. So really very long history of use for this herb. And just to bring that home a bit, this is a artwork from the year 565. This is in a basilica in Ravenna, Italy, the land of my ancestors, meaning grandparents and beyond. And so we have, this is a Byzantine mosaic of the three magi. And here is this is where most of us, myself included, first heard of frankincense. And this is from Matthew 2:11. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And myrrh is similar. It's the tree resin that exudes from the bark of a different tree. The Commiphora myrrh is the name of that tree, but it's the same basic idea. It's the dried exudate, the dried resin of these trees that have been used in ritual and also medicinally. And this myrrh stuff is very useful. We use this in Chinese medicine all the time. Mo Yao is used in Chinese medicine to move blood, to relieve blood stagnation, to invigorate the blood that maybe is stuck often in cases of pain. So let's take a look here. Okay, so you'll see here that just to look at the botanical classification, all the way down from the top, this is part of the plant kingdom, and which means multicellular photosynthetic eukaryotes, which means that cells that have a nucleus with cell walls. So that's the whole plant kingdom shares that. It's also part of a massive group of plants, vascular plants with xylem and phloem, which is the plant blood vessels, sort of, for the plant. And then it's part of a class, the subcategory of Tracheophyta, or the Magnoliopsida. There's 200,000 species, including 75% of all flowering plants are in this class. And then drilling down a little more into the order of the Sapindales, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing these correctly, but this is, now we're down to 6,750 species of woody flowering plants, which these trees are. The family is Burseraceae. I think I got that right. And these are 19 geni or genera, genuses of flowering resinous trees. And now we're getting into much more specifically resinous trees and shrubs with compound leaves. That's what we saw, the same leaf sticking out on either side. And this includes the frankincense and myrrh family, which is the incense tree family. And so that's very important. That's the whole 700 species of torchwoods, they're sometimes called. And then we get into the genus. And the genus is the Boswellia genus, named after John Boswell, is between 20 and 28 species. And these are the group of about 25 species that produce frankincense, which is the resin, which differs a little bit from tree to tree. There's 25 different types of trees or so. And so the resin is slightly different, but what they have in common is that these are all resin producing trees. Now, the most researched and medicinally used is this guy, the Boswellia serrata, otherwise known as Indian frankincense. So it grows in Sri Lanka, very much in India, in Egypt, including, which is part of North Africa, many Middle Eastern countries. Highly prized. And unfortunately, there's some sustainability issues which have been improving because this tree was very much endangered. And MediHerb will not carry herbs that are endangered for conservation reasons. We had that problem. We had to wait for cat's claw for 8 years to come back till it was sustainable again. Really impressive. And then so that's the species, a specific exact plant that we use medicinally. There are others, there's 25 or so, but this is the one that we use most commonly. And the part that we use is the olibanum. This is the oleogum resin, known in Ayurvedic medicine as shalaki. This is a solid plant exudate, which is made of a volatile oil plus the gum plus the resin. And when you make an incision in the bark, it exudes this resin that then dries and hardens, and they chip it off the tree, and then it gets processed into an herbal product. And we first find this herb in Asiatic Researches, Volume 12 from 1814. In the modern era, obviously. And then John Boswell, so-called discovered the plant long before that in the 1700s, in the mid 1700s. So in the Western world, in the European world, and then in North America, but initially in Europe, this herb was discovered in the mid 1700s, so about 300 years ago. But again, the history goes back at least 5, possibly 6,000 years, which is pretty remarkable. So what a great herb. And it is used for a range of issues, which we'll talk about a bit. And but yeah, I've been using this herb a lot more. I was using it a fair bit, but now quite a bit more since preparing this presentation that I just gave at a major herbal conference in North Carolina about a month ago. So let's look at the botanical classification in a little bit of a different way. And as we said, it's part of the Burseraceae, the torchwood family. It is part of the frankincense genus. It's known by different names, most commonly Indian frankincense. It's in many different parts of India and other countries. The tree grows to, let's see, that would be about 30 to 50 feet high, and it's a pale gray bark. And the amber resin, which we use medicinally, is exuded or oozes out on incision. So this happens naturally from animals and storms and weather and whatever else. The trees naturally, the bark gets injured from natural causes, and then they will, intentionally injure the bark to stimulate the production of this resin. And that's where the sustainability piece comes in. That really should only be done 2 or 3 times a year. But some producers will do it every couple of weeks, which does not give the tree enough time to heal. And so that is a definite, concern. Thankfully, it is that sustainability issue is improving, but still a definite issue, but it's getting better. Ideally, what we call tapping happens 2 to 3 times a year, not what some less scrupulous herb gatherers will do, which is about up to every 2 weeks. So it should be every 4 to 6 months for the tree to fully heal and not lose too much of its vitality, because it takes resource of the tree to produce that resin. So there's a lot of things in this resin, volatile oils, polysaccharides, terpenoids, but the big thing, it's about a third of what it is boswellic acids. And again, sustainability is an issue. That's why it's important to work with a reputable company that pays attention to these sustainability issues. Very important. So what you'll see is this abbreviation of BSE, which you'll see all over the studies. The literature uses that as an abbreviation of Boswellia serrata extract. Okay, so that's that. Now, let's look at the key points, and this is where we'll get to some kind of practical applications. And I just want to finish on that sustainability bit. The International Union for Conservation of Nature is sort of a global watchdog group that tracks the sustainability issues and conservation issues around plants, which is great because we do not, we've lost, unfortunately, many species of plants, thousands, due to habitat loss and a lack of attention, which is really important, to to the sustainability and kind of well-being of that plant and species. So that's a big concern. So thankfully, this is really good news. This just happened a couple of years ago. Decades of kind of outcry from the herbal community and others, and certain governments wanting to do the right thing. They're like, hey, we're going to make this entire species, Boswellia serrata, extinct if we don't do this better. So thankfully, it was near threatened until 2024. Now they list it as least concern, which is great. So this is the website, iucn.org. And there's another group also doing great work called fairwild.org. And they're also tracking carefully the status of this very sacred tree, historically very highly prized in religious observance and ritual, as well as medicinally. So that's a couple of resources for you. So we have at least 5,000 years of documented medicinal use across Ayurvedic, Greco-Arabian, also known as Unani, African, and biblical traditions. So it features mostly in the Old Testament, or where you'll see this herb is mentioned. So 3-O-acetyl-11 keto beta boswellic acid, thankfully abbreviated AKBA, is the most famous and apparently the most active of the boswellic acids. And this is a triterpenoid and considered the most potent constituent. Now, what's cool is it is remarkably effective at addressing this enzyme 5-LOX or 5-lipoxygenase. Now, this is very much related to leukotriene-mediated inflammation. Now, leukotriene inflammation is a big deal in the development of arthritis and asthma and bowel inflammation, and psoriasis. So anybody with any of those conditions, they have chronic inflammation as part of their condition. And that's a big deal. And, we're always casting about to see, well, how do we address that inflammation effectively? There are pharmaceuticals that try, but they all have pretty major side effects. Now, NSAIDs don't even affect much the leukotriene pathway. They affect other inflammatory pathways. And that's why they're not used that much or as much in these types of inflammation. They tend to use steroids more commonly with these conditions. For example, I've had many patients over the years, back to even when I was a student 37 years ago, 38 years ago, 37 years ago, when treating patients with inflammatory bowel disease, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. And what they typically show up with is steroid. There's typically taking steroids. So prednisone and such, these steroid analogs or synthetic versions of what the body produces to manage their say rheumatoid arthritis or their asthma, um, the and their inflammatory bowel disease or ulcerative colitis, psoriasis. So those are very, very dangerous drugs to take for more than a couple of weeks. You don't want to be taking steroids long term. I've seen that firsthand with patients over the last 36 years. They just really have a lot of problems from taking the steroids, particularly immunosuppression. And then there's bone density issues and a range of other side effects that are pretty significant, including adrenal atrophy. So here's an herb which works really, really well in leukotriene-mediated inflammation. Now, if you look at the evidence, and when we get to this course in August, the weekend symposium, the herbal symposium, herbal summer school, we'll let you know about that as soon as it's available. We're just confirming the final speaker. Then you'll learn, like a lot of details about this, but just overview. We have 20 randomized controlled trials confirming that this herb is superb for helping folks with osteoarthritis. Also, asthma, right? There was a RCT, randomized controlled trial, with a 70% response rate. In other words, 70% of those asthma patients improved. And then folks who have brain cancer, who get radiation treatment, and other issues will develop cerebral edema, so swelling of the brain. And that's a big issue because that can cause cognitive and actually brain damage if it's significant. So here's an herb that addresses that. Now, the type of product, again, this is not a well absorbed herb. So we can optimize that by using a standardized extract like the MediHerb, pharmaceutical grade, Boswellia serrata, and taking it with fat, or even at a minimum, a fat-containing supplement like a fish oil or something like that. So I have some patients who have, on my recommendation, are intermittent fasting, just eating 2 meals a day. They don't start eating till noon or 1 p.m. And they'll take their morning Boswellia with their fish oil or other fat-containing formulas like chlorophyll pearls, wheat germ oil, black currant seed oil, any of the tuna oil, Olprima, any of the lipid-based formulas, they'll take that with the Boswellia. Now, there's a newer uh, system, a newer approach to addressing the bioavailability issues, and that's complexing the herb with fenugreek, just like what we did with turmeric. Turmeric Forte is the most effective turmeric product on the planet because it is this fenumat or fenugreek complex turmeric. They did the same thing with boswellic acids with Boswellia in the Neuroregenex, one of the very few products that has fenugreek complex Boswellia. The Boswellia complex works great too, and it's blended with 3 other herbs that are just incredible for addressing gut or joint or lung inflammation or kidney issues. So those are the ways we address using kind of the modern science, but also this fat thing has been done for thousands of years, where they'll prepare the herb with milk. And they're not dumb enough to, back in the day, to use skim milk or low-fat milk. They were smarter than that. But full-fat dairy. This herb is very safe, very safe. This is a ridiculous amount of herb. The LD50 means what's the dose needed to be lethal to half of the test animal. So lethal dose half the time is what LD50 means. And it's just astronomical. I mean, 2 grams per kilogram. I mean, just do the math on that. Let's just say you had a 150-pound person. That's 68 kilograms times 2. That's 136 grams of herb per day. And we typically use, so that's 100, just remember that number, 136-ish grams of herb, and we typically use medicinally, between 2 and 6. So we don't really use anywhere near 136. So it's a very, very safe herb. They even did a systematic review of 47 clinical trials, not even one significant safety issue. So that's pretty fabulous. That's pretty fabulous. So it's a very safe herb to take. We have very, very good, strong safety data on that. Okay. So that's that. And I'm going to play you a little video now. It's a short little video just so you can see what it looks like. Just a few seconds. And then you can see. Let me see if we have sound on this. We'll find out. And yeah, there it is. So that's the tree. It's a beautiful tree with beautiful flowers. There's that parallel leaves that stick out on either side of the thing. I'll play that again. But this is the Boswellia serrata tree. It's beautiful. And they make these little incisions in the bark that causes the resin, the frankincense, to come out. So again, the frankincense is the resin produced by this group of 25 or so trees, different species of tree. But it's a beautiful tree, produces these very nice flowers that we don't use medicinally, but to my knowledge, nobody uses the flowers or leaves medicinally, but the resin from the bark. Okay, so let's look at frankincense, a little bit more of this. Okay, so the frankincense comes from the Old French, and I don't speak French, but franc incense, perhaps, meaning pure incense, pure incense. So this is the resin produced by this group of trees in the Boswellia genus, which is 20 to 28 species or different specific trees, like Boswellia sacra, serrata, and so forth. And this milky sap seeps out and hardens into these translucent tears, which are the oleogum resins, and that's raw frankincense. Now, that botanically, that resin is about 2/3 of an alcohol or fat soluble resin, And that's where the Akba and other boswellic acids are. Then about 20% are water-soluble gum made of polysaccharides. And then there's a teeny bit of essential oil, which contains the monoterpenes, which give it the brightness and gives that beautiful scent that certainly is part of my childhood as a choir boy and briefly an altar boy. Then I decided to stick with the choir, thankfully, because that was a wonderful experience. I know this scent very well when it's burned, but also just fresh frankincense has a beautiful odor. So this is burned in temples from ancient Egypt to India within Christian and Islamic ritual. And this moved, it was for 500 years. There was the Great Incense Route, a trade network that carried the scent from the Arabian Peninsula, where it grew, to the rest of the world. So that is that. And then I have a slightly longer video, which is thanks to Business Insider, which is amazing. They looked at some of the economics of this, but they did a great job of doing a little video on this herb. So I'm going to play that for you now. So here we go.
Frankincense and myrrh are perhaps best known for their biblical connotations, but this tree sap has been prized across the world for over 6,000 years. These fragrant incense pieces come from the Burseraceae family of trees and are found across the Horn of Africa and the Arabian Peninsula. But despite recent attempts to protect these trees, they could soon be headed for extinction. So what makes frankincense and myrrh so expensive? There are roughly 550 species of Burseraceae. A collection of trees often referred to as the incense tree family, recognizable for their flaking aromatic bark and fragrant sap. But true frankincense comes from only a small fraction of those species.
ኣብዚ ዓዲ ኣብ ኢትዮጵያ ናብ ካብ 6 ዓሌታት ዕጣን ኣለዎ ተባሂሉ ይሕሰብ ካብዞም 6 ዓሌታት ሓደ ትግራይ ዝርከብ ቦስዋልያ ፓፕሊፌራ ዝበሃል ሳይነሳዊ መፀውዒ ዘለዎ ኣብ ዕዳጋ ዓለም ተቐባልነት ዘለዎ ዓይነት ዕጣን እዩ።
Frankincense is a milky white resin derived from Boswellia trees, which are remarkable for their ability to grow in unforgiving conditions. In fact, these trees have been known to grow out of solid rock. Myrrh, on the other hand, is a reddish resin extracted from Commiphora trees. The process of extracting sap from Boswellia and Commiphora trees is virtually identical. Incisions or taps are made in the bark of the tree, which create injury. The trees produce a gummy resin, like a scab, as a protection against the injury. The resin then hardens into teardrop pieces. More incisions are made at important intervals to continue the production of resin exudates.
መጀመሪያ መቐር ነዚ ንዕድሞ ታዕሊም ትበሃል እዚኣ ካብኡ ካልኣይ ድማ እዚኣ ቆሲደላ ቁሩብ መዓልቲ ዝወሰድ ድሕሪ 15 መዓልቲ እዚኣ ተካዓ ቆንፍሬት ትበሃል ካብኡ ሜስካ ድሕሪ 15 መዓልቲ ምስ ብተመሳሳሊ ትልካ ሳልስየን ተባሂላ ትፅዋዕ ተወሰነ ግን ዕጣን ግን ኣለዎ ይወፃኢ ተወሰነ ዓሪና ነጠራቐምና ንሕኮ ካብኡ ብድሕሪ ምስ ድሕሪ 15 መዓልቲ ድማ ራብዓየን ተባሂሉ ይፅዋዕ ተወሰነ ይእረዮ
The resin granules collected from the trees must be separated into different grades. First grade A frankincense is clear, white, and without impurities. Smaller pieces of the same high-quality granules are separated within a sieve and classified as first grade B frankincense. The grades gradually deteriorate based on the size and the amount of impurities, such as bark infused into the resin. Low-quality frankincense is mainly sold for local market consumption, whereas grades 1, 2, 3, and 4 are exported.
صبوغ موزي قدامي يبقى بزي بدرجة قدامي بواقعون
ዝሓሸ ዋጋ እዩ ዘለዎ ማለት እዩ ብተቐሚጥ ናይ ዘለና ተርቢል ናይ ዘለናስ በቃ ዋግኡ ቀዳማይ ዝለዓለ ዋጋ ኣሎ ቀዳማይ እባል ማለት እዩ ከባቢ 15,000 ንገዝኡ እዚ 15,000 ቅርሺ 15,000 ብዘይባቱ ንገዝኡ እዚ ዓዲ ማለት እዩ
That means that at wholesale, this sack of first grade A Ethiopian frankincense is worth about $430. Frankincense and myrrh have been burnt as incense for thousands of years, and both are deeply ingrained in religious ceremonial burnings. In fact, it's estimated that the Roman Catholic Church alone still uses an estimated 50 metric tons of frankincense a year. Frankincense and myrrh were some of the most highly prized commodities in ancient civilizations, and became the driving force behind the creation of the incense trade routes, a vast network of major land and sea passageways dating back to 300 BC that linked the Mediterranean to luxury goods from the south. At the height of their use, these routes allowed the transport of approximately 3,000 tons of incense every year, hauled by camels. Today, alongside its medicinal and cosmetic uses, frankincense has found a surge in popularity as an essential oil, which in its purest form can be sold for as much as $6,000 per litre. Frankincense essential oil alone generated more than $190 million in 2018, and that's expected to exceed $406 million by 2028. But with so much money to be made from damaging a tree, the tapping process, which should happen only 2 or 3 times a year, is under threat not only from environmental dangers such as wildfires, but also from local untrained tappers. It can sometimes take decades for these trees to start producing resin, so the sustainability of the species relies on injuring the tree without killing it.
Unfortunately, the harvesting process of frankincense is very damaging to the tree. So every time people go there and make wounds and collect the sap, that doesn't give enough time to rest for the tree and heal itself. So one of our findings is this tree is really under threat.
The International Union for Conservation of Nature categorized the Boswellia sacra species as near threatened over 20 years ago, and the lack of overharvesting laws in some countries means that protecting Boswellia trees in such remote areas is virtually impossible. Experts who surveyed aging Boswellia papyrifera trees in North Africa suggested that most hadn't produced a young tree in half a century.
زفقنا تلفل حكم كابل أهم شيء استخدام قوة أضافة التقريب أفرخ عزق التقريب أفلس كون كنت قوة يدخل تخيل كون قوة كنت قوة يدخل تفطروا معنا على تخيل تخيل ولا حرعي تلك أزليت لا يحضرون لا مانجمنت لا وأنت تطرق على قد بمزح زمانات تتأكد زمانات تتعامل بس أنتاني سلاح هذا الزمن قل كان أني روانت أخاوي تتكعن هذا ورا أخاوي توصيل إذا نايت البين كا توصيل لا
There you go. So that's quite a bit. They did a great job on that, giving us a real sense of how the tree is made, and also these pretty significant sustainability issues that are a real thing, So I'm just going to close with, because I think we have our guest coming in shortly. I hope. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure, but should be seeing him shortly. And this is a case study from my practice. This was a 52-year-old female. This is some years ago in New York when I lived there. I was practicing there. And this was in the Huntington office in Long Island, where I practiced for many years. So she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, which is a similar type of situation on a spectrum. A lot of folks, in some thinking is that this is really the same condition, fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue. The fibromyalgia folks lean more towards pain, and the chronic fatigue folks more towards fatigue, but that is basically the same condition. So she came in for treatment. This was her Chinese medicine diagnosis, spleen qi deficiency with damp phlegm retention, and damp, cold, painful obstruction, or B syndrome. That was kind of her pattern. in Chinese medicine. It's very common with fibromyalgia. It's worse with damp weather, worse with cold weather, and that's what she had. Now, I treated her with body work, acupuncture, diet, exercise, nutritional supplementation. And once I added the Boswellia complex at a mellow dose of just 3 a day, I'd probably be a little more aggressive today. This is about 20-ish years ago, 25 years ago. But even at 3 a day, immediately, within a few days, her pain and stiffness was dramatically improved. She had more energy, she was calmer, more positive, better sleep and digestion. If you're in pain all the time, that can be really debilitating emotionally. I know that for sure. And, people who've had any significant pain chronically, it just wears you down. And just saps your energy just trying to deal with that pain. So she was just over the moon excited. I just remember she was so excited. She had been dealing with this for decades and really never got any help from whatever she tried. And then Western medicine, they really didn't have much to offer her. So she just felt great. Now, as happens, life happens, and she moved. She bought a new house, sold her old house. That takes a lot. I've been through that a few times, and it's a big to do to move into a new home and buy that home and sell your previous home, as some of you know. So I didn't see her for a few months, and then she came back in, and she was really anxious to get back on the Medior Boswellia complex. She had wandered into the health food store near her in Long Island and tried every Boswellia product they had and tried all of them at full dose on the bottle. And in her words, they didn't do a thing, as she told her friend who referred her to me. They didn't do a thing. So quality matters. Quality counts. It's very significant. So that's that. And let me see if our guest is here yet. And he is. Okay, great. Well, that's a great introduction to Boswellia and what it's about, its history, how to use it, and specifically which products to use. So that is that. So we are really delighted and just very thankful on literally no notice that today's guest was able to join us today. We will be seeing Alex Mayer on the show soon. We wish her well. And oh, we had a couple of questions. Yeah, neurogenics for joint pain for sure. I'm glad you saw that, Amy. Differences between myrrh and frankincense. Frankincense a little more specific for inflammation and pain. Myrrh a little more specific, well, in a different way. Myrrh is more about moving blood, and a lot of pain, especially fixed sharp pain, is stagnant blood. So frankincense does move blood a bit. Myrrh does that more. Frankincense is the best intervention on the planet of any kind, pharmaceutical or natural, for specifically that leukotriene-mediated inflammation that is very common to arthritis and asthma and bowel inflammation. Very specific. So they have a lot of overlap, pain, for example, but they do it in different ways. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you, Sabine. Steroids can drive it deeper. Yeah. For ADHD, yeah, in the form of neurogenics, that would be the most specific. And Sabine, I believe they use an ethanol water extraction method. And then in the neurogenics, they also include fenugreek as part of the as part of that. Richard, yeah, this is the season now to do the purification program. This is the best season to do a cleanse for yourself. So that would be a very smart thing to do, to do a purification kit. Purification program is 21 days. I'll give you the details just to answer your question there. And let's see where it went. Here it is. So I'll give you the link to the kit, and this is wonderful for as an annual cleanse, which really we should all be doing these days. There's so much environmental toxicity, and we're seeing the consequences of this all over the place with chronic illnesses related to toxicity from cancers and cardiovascular issues and gynecological and reproductive problems. It's really become essential to do an annual cleanse. So that's the one that I recommend and use with patients and use myself. And then you can come in for a consult by Zoom, and I'll walk you through it. Or there's a self-study um, course where it walks you through all of the details of specifically how to do it, how to modify it, specific modifications, home testing, all kinds of things in our course called Transformational Detoxification. It's a mind-body approach, which is wonderful. So here's the kit. I'll typically add beta food to this, the organic beets and such. But this is the kit. Well, everything is included in there that you need. And then here's the course, Transformational Detoxification. It's a 5-week process that you guide yourself through. There's a week of preparation and then a week of finishing up after the 3 weeks. And it's very, very helpful. And it came out great. We did this last year as a group, and it was just wonderful. So that would be the most thorough, kind of best way to go through the cleanse would be to do that along with the course. And you get a discount on that as well with your MWM10 code. So that's that. And I want to introduce today's guest to you today. Really honored to have him with us today. And he has been subject to, some just remarkable, surprisingly aggressive, really, I don't know what else to call it, but persecution by the Justice Department. He's going to tell us all about that. But it just is indicative in a tragic way of how much sort of corruption there is in the justice system. Is often not the justice system, but the injustice system. And it works great sometimes, and sometimes it's just a mess. And today's guest has been, the subject of just enormous amounts of medical persecution. And we are just honored to have him with us today. This is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, and let's give him a warm Mondays with Michael welcome to Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar, thank you so much for being with us today. Just got to get you unmuted there so we can hear you. There you go.
Yes, thank
Excellent.
you for the opportunity and to share my experience through this ordeal with you and
Yes.
audience.
Yeah,
And
thanks for being flexible, coming in a week early. I appreciate it.
yes, better early rather than late, right?
That's right. So Dr. Kumar, for folks who are less familiar with you, you're a very experienced clinician. You've been practicing for many years, and then something happened. If you just give us a little bit of your background and how you came to be practicing your specialty, and then some of the really unfortunate stuff that's been happening more recently.
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Sanjeev Kumar, MD. I am a double board certified gynecologic oncologist, which means that I did a OBGYN residency at Wayne State University and then followed by a gynecologic oncology fellowship at the Mayo Clinic, Rochester, Minnesota. And after that, I came to Memphis and started my practice. Memphis is the only town that I've been in practice in from 2013 through 2025. And then I got involved in some legal matters with the federal government through indictments and things like that related to my practice. related with medical necessity of hysteroscopy, device utilization, and things of that nature. So that's kind of how a brief, real brief overview of
So, yes. Yeah. What does your practice typically consist of as a gynecological oncologist? How do you work with patients specifically?
yeah. So as a gynecologic oncologist, we are experts of pelvic surgery, basically in women's health. So primarily, we treat complex surgical disorders of pelvis. So let's say if there's a large tumor, if there's gynecologic cancer, ovarian cancer, endometrial cancer, cervical cancer, vulvar cancer, vaginal cancer, those.
Okay.
And if the patient requires surgery, chemotherapy, things like that, we do. And because of our expertise in dealing with complex cancerous disorders of the pelvis, we are also frequently called upon to treat benign conditions of the pelvis as well, such as large benign tumors, fibroids. When the pelvis is very scarred up, a lot of previous operations and things like that, then other physicians typically call us to look after those type of problems. So we are expert pelvic surgeons and basically the troubleshooters of last resort, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long training. You first got to do
Yeah,
med,
I would think so.
then you got to do a residency in OBGYN, and then followed by a gynecologic oncology fellowship
Hmm.
uh, to be board certified in this field.
So it sounds like you have gynecology and surgery and oncology all rolled together.
That is correct.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
correct. Yep.
Okay. So how long were you practicing in Memphis before all this went down?
More than a decade.
Hmm.
Practiced in Memphis for more than a
Hmm.
decade.
Hmm.
Started with a corporate job in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2019, opened my private practice, my
Hmm.
clinic,
Mm-hmm.
which then became a target of a federal investigation
Hmm.
that is ongoing right now.
Wow. So how did that start? I mean, was that a patient complaint, colleague complaint, government just snooping around? I mean, how did that start?
Yeah, so I went through a trial, and during the trial, it was disclosed to us that because we were not in the bell curve and we were called as an outlier for utilization of this particular service called hysteroscopy,
Hmm.
that's why our clinic was targeted for investigation.
So there was a particular procedure that they had a problem with you performing?
That is correct. So, as GYN oncologists and double board certification and extensive training, there are a lot of things, a lot of different procedures that we perform, both in the office as well as in the hospital.
Right.
One of those procedures was targeted in this investigation, and that procedure is called a hysteroscopy
Yeah.
uh, and endometrial sampling. Hysteroscopy is a small procedure, kind of like a pap smear.
Hmm.
Uh, but in this particular procedure, we are putting a very tiny little endoscope or a telescope in the uterus to basically visualize if there's an abnormal growth, abnormal bleeding,
Hmm.
uh, cancer or a polyp or scar tissue or a retained intrauterine device
Kind
and
of
what.
like a gastric endoscopy that some people have had to look around the stomach.
That is correct. So in gastric endoscopy or a GI endoscopy, as people call it, we use a very long telescope, right?
Hmm.
A gastroscope or a gastroduodenal endoscope.
Hmm.
We, on the other hand, in gynecologic specialties, use a very small,
Mm-hmm.
15 to 20 centimeter long, very small endoscope to visualize the inside lining of the uterus, which becomes the target of a federal investigation.
But isn't that like a standard thing that you would do?
It's very standard, actually. It's very standard. It is in our wheelhouse. Millions of these procedures are actually done in America every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the most common cancer that is diagnosed with this procedure is actually called endometrial cancer, endometrial or uterine cancer.
Yeah. Yep.
It is the public cancer registry numbers tell us that every 10 minutes, a new endometrial cancer gets diagnosed in the US.
Wow.
So approximately 68,000 to 69,000 cases will be diagnosed in 2026.
Okay.
Moreover, this cancer is rising rapidly. So if you look at the cancer death rate, cancer diagnosis from 2018 through 2022, the public registries will tell you that endometrial cancer, uterine cancer, has become the fastest growing cancer in women. If you look at the delta or the change of rate of the cancer diagnosis. And so obviously the cancer keeps rising every subsequent year.
Right.
More cancers will be diagnosed than the previous year. And this particular procedure aids early diagnosis.
Yeah, I would think so.
And or quicker pickup of these type of cancers, and can be life-saving actually.
Yes.
In a lot of patients.
Sure. Yeah, I have one slide on this just to give folks a little detail of what Dr. Kumar is sharing with us here. This is from our cancer course. Let's see, here it is. So you'll see here, these are the top cancers as of data from last year.
Yeah.
And you'll see here, this is what Dr. Kumar is talking about. Almost 70,000 new cases just last year and rising.
Correct.
And it's the most common gynecological cancer. And
Correct.
then the number of deaths with a rising mortality trend was almost 14,000 deaths last year and rising. Do you have a sense of why this is happening? Is it better diagnosis? Is it something else? Is it, I mean, I have my own opinions, but I wanted to see what you thought.
Yeah, so so number one, thank you for sharing that slide. Actually, it's an excellent slide, and the data you have is really top notch on that particular slide.
Sure, sure.
What is noteworthy about that slide is that in a lot of cancers in women,
Yes.
we have actually managed to reduce the morbidity and mortality so that it's no longer rising.
Oh, okay.
Uterine cancer, on the other hand, is exactly the opposite.
Oh,
I'll actually share a couple of slides with you
sure,
after this talk.
sure.
Is that this cancer is rising rapidly and
Wow.
has become the fastest growing cancer with the death rate when you measure the rising death rate in 5-year increments.
Wow.
There are multiple reasons for it. The main reason is the epidemic of obesity. This cancer is directly caused by obesity. And the population is
Wow.
getting more and more prevalence of obesity.
Right.
And you know, in human body, fat cells they produce estrogen, right?
Right.
Basically, androgens get produced in our adrenal glands, and in the peripheral fat, that gets converted into estrogen.
Right.
And many people probably don't know it, but both men and women have circulating estrogen in their body.
Okay.
That is converted from androgens into estrogen.
Yes.
So the more estrogen you have in the body, the cells that line the uterine cavity, they feed on that estrogen as a food. And
Right. It's
that makes,
yeah, estrogen is proliferative always.
that's right.
Yeah.
So that's how this cancer develops. Because the obesity is rising, so is the cancer, so is the depth.
Oh, okay.
And because the obesity is affecting more and more younger women,
Right.
more African Americans, so those are the populations that are at increased risk of this type of cancer. So you
Right.
can imagine in the city of Memphis, where my practice is actually based,
Yeah.
Memphis has very, very high prevalence of obesity.
Oh, okay.
And coupled with that, increased risk of fibroids in African American women,
Right.
which makes the diagnosis of this cancer very difficult.
Hmm.
So for those reasons, we dealt with very, very high risk population for endometrial cancer.
Right.
Consequently, we relied heavily on our practice of hysteroscopy
Yeah.
to detect that cancer.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've had countless patients over the last 36 years who've had that procedure as just, the gynecologist felt that there was something that needed more investigation. And, it seems, I mean, pretty common and kind of an important test to do. Um, I'm just trying to figure out why they would have a problem with you. You're eminently trained to do this procedure. It's part of your wheelhouse and kind of what you're supposed to do as a gynecological oncologist. Like, why would anyone object to you doing such an important and common procedure?
Yeah. So that's where the perplexing situation comes in, is that I also don't understand um, why they would target our clinic, because
Hmm.
remember, the baseline allegation that they alleged was, quote, overutilization
Hmm.
of hysteroscopy services
Hmm.
as compared to a peer group.
Hmm.
So I think
But wait
in
a
the
minute, you're treating a high risk population.
correct.
So wouldn't you need to do more screening in a high risk situation and in serving a high risk community? You just naturally want to do more of that kind of screening?
That's exactly right. Is that um, when you look at peer comparisons in these
Yeah,
based data sets, right?
right,
So let's say every physician gets an NPI number.
right.
That NPI number is tracked when billing and collections are analyzed in these government programs.
Yeah,
Right? So if there's certain amount of billing or collection associated with a particular NPI,
right.
then a lot of times these federal agencies, they are going to target those people who
Hmm.
they believe are, quote, outliers
Hmm.
in their algorithms.
Hmm.
And our clinic was selected for investigation and targeted for that type of comparison.
Hmm.
Now, important thing to remember in those type of comparisons is that we had our clinic was open 6 days a week. We had an open door policy, which means that we would never turn anybody away, whether you had insurance, no insurance.
Yeah.
So we will take you. I personally had reputation for taking difficult cases,
Hmm.
treating patients that are obese and that are turned away by other people.
Hmm.
So naturally, we sort of attracted and looked after a select group of very high risk patients.
Hmm.
Then during their analysis, the government showed the billing data and the collections data. However, they basically undermined the number of patients we were treating.
Hmm.
So when you actually look at per patient collection,
Right.
we were actually some of the lowest in the peer group.
Hmm.
And when you actually look at the number of patients we treated the highest number of patients in the entire peer group that they.
Hmm.
In fact, we treated 9 times more patients than the next quote peer.
Wow.
So we
Wow.
treat in the data set that they presented, we treated about 4,700 patients, close to
Hmm.
5,000, versus the second largest peer that treated like 550.
Wow. Wow.
In the entire database, we treated approximately 1 in 4 Medicaid patients.
Hmm.
Whether they found it convenient to come to our clinic, or whether we were open, welcoming, and our clinic was very well liked by the patients.
Yeah.
No,
You
but
mean 1 in 4 of the Medicare patients in your area, or was it 1 in 4 of your patients were Medicare patients?
no, it was so when the government data set that they presented for peer review,
Right.
in that particular data set, we treated 1 in 4 patients. We were the largest
Oh, okay. Okay.
provider in their database
Wow.
for
Hmm.
hysteroscopy and endometrial sampling.
Well, good for you for not turning people away who needed help.
That's right. So these data, they point to a fact, which is our patient volume was very high,
Right.
which basically they did not highlight. So they
Hmm.
highlighted billing and collection,
Hmm.
but they never put it in context,
Oh.
patient numbers.
Huh.
You see?
So, Sanjay, do you think this was like this is what Sabine is saying in the chat? Is this like some AI bot was just like scanning data and flagged you for some reason? Like it wasn't even a person that, was it just in some automated system that was like scanning records or something? I mean, I know it's probably hard to determine that, but she's just wondering if this all started from some type of bot, finding something that seemed anomalous.
It's certainly possible. Although they didn't, tell us anything like.
Right. Sure.
Um,
Understandably,
you
yeah.
what I'm telling you is what was presented.
Yes.
You were quote outliers in
Hmm.
utilization of hysteroscopy.
Yes.
And I just, presented several factors why it would be
Well, it
totally
makes sense.
justifiable for
Yeah.
us.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like saying to a colorectal surgeon that, hey, why do you do so many colonoscopies? I mean, that's what they do.
Right. Right. Well, but it's more than that. It's like, why are you doing so many colonoscopies in an area where there's lots of bad food and environmental toxicity and whatever else, risk factors. And, a ton of people in your area have alkaline colon and constipation and, whatever. Like you're in this high risk area. On
Yes.
top of that, and it's not just random, like, lots of procedures. It's for a reason,
Yes.
which is you have this wonderful, don't turn people away policy.
Yeah.
And this is smack dab right in the middle of your wheelhouse and specialty, and you're in a high risk area. So that kind of makes sense to me. So why that? I mean, I just trying to figure out what. So I'm saying, please continue on. Tell us how all this went for you so far.
Yeah. And also, when you determine utilization of a service,
Right?
a government insurance driven marketplace,
Yes.
you gotta have some baseline against which you are measuring utilization, right?
Okay.
For hysteroscopy, for example, there is no baseline. It's strictly based on
Oh,
judgment.
huh.
So let's say if you talk about pap smear, a few years ago, you were required to have a pap smear every year, right? So that was
Right.
the baseline rate.
Sure.
You're required to have a colonoscopy, let's say every 5 to 10 years.
Right.
So the government has kind of defined a baseline rate.
Sure.
For hysteroscopy, there is no baseline rate definition, which means if a patient presents to you and based on your counseling and the risk factors that the patient has,
Right.
patient is given choice of several different modalities, and if the patient makes a selection to have a hysteroscopy, we would do
Right.
that,
Right.
right?
Sure.
Some clinics don't have the equipment or the setup to do a hysteroscopy. Some clinics
Oh,
don't do a hysteroscopy.
right.
They don't utilize that service, right?
Yeah.
Maybe their training is different, they don't have the experience, or still some other clinics don't do the hysteroscopy in the office, but they take all the patients to the hospital. For example,
Mm.
when I was hospital employed, we were required to take every hysteroscopy in the hospital.
Mm.
But when you do that, the cost is so much more higher. You have to pay for anesthesia, and sometimes you run into complications because the patient is asleep and they don't feel anything. And people ended up with uterine perforations and things of that nature.
Yes. Yes.
So, office hysteroscopy is extremely convenient for the patient.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the utilization paradigm pans out.
So is it true that a lot of these procedures are done in a hospital setting because some clinics are just not set up with the equipment to do that?
Either that, or a lot of physicians or the healthcare systems are financially motivated to
Oh.
perform the hospital based procedure.
Oh, I
For
see.
example, several healthcare corporations,
Wow.
um,
Okay.
every hysteroscopy gets in the hospital.
Hmm.
They just have never invested money in developing their office hysteroscopy program.
Right.
In fact, there was a recent survey from the American Gynecologic Laparoscopists Association,
Right.
AAG,
Right.
our society.
Yes.
The paper suggested that only about 21 to 27% gynecologists do hysteroscopy in the office.
Oh, wow.
And it cited, various factors why it can be.
Right.
Um, but, some of the main determinants were, your employment, your training,
Right.
how good you are at it,
Yeah.
your skill set,
Yeah.
and kind of setup in which you practice.
Hmm.
In this particular case, the government hired a chart reviewer, a physician from a different state.
Right.
So this particular chart reviewer actually does not perform office hysteroscopy. And still
Oops.
to this day,
Okay.
I'm perplexed is how come a chart reviewer is acting as an expert on the case from the government side?
Right.
They themselves don't perform hysteroscopy in the office. This
Wow.
is a office hysteroscopy case.
Hmm.
So
That seems a little strange.
this particular reviewer said on the record he doesn't do office hysteroscopy.
Hmm.
Everybody goes to the operating room
Hmm.
in his
Hmm.
practice, and therefore he has zero understanding of the office equipment you
Wow.
perform
Wow.
hysteroscopy in the office.
Yes. Yes.
But nevertheless, that's kind of how things panned out.
Hmm.
And based on his recommendations, which the government used as a basis for classifying certain procedures from our clinic as,
Right.
quote, not medically necessary, because he said, oh, I would not have done it.
Right.
So
Hmm.
based on that, they classified that medically unnecessary and hence overutilization of services. Now,
Wow.
when these procedures were done about 5 years ago during COVID time, and they're all done, most of these procedures were done during COVID times when
Hmm.
people were actually not going to the hospital.
Right.
Um, so basically, um, when these procedures were being done, they were actually covered by the Medicare, Medicaid programs.
Hmm.
And we were getting these letters, hey, thank you so much for looking after our patients and things like that.
Right.
Patients are happy, great reviews, and
Hmm.
we are grateful for providing this service. And we diagnosed numerous cancers with the procedure. Uh,
Wow.
one particular government
Wow.
program audited us, kept us on the audit, literally reviewed hundreds and hundreds of charts and said things were good, and then took us
Right.
off the audit.
Hmm.
And then few years later, now they come in alleging overutilization and criminally indicted me for the exact.
Wow. That's just awful. I mean, how is it? I mean, you didn't. I mean, you helped lots of patients and diagnosed at least some number of cancers, or led to that diagnosis from doing this very common screening procedure. I mean, I'm trying to understand like what was the. I mean, this seems like extreme. That you know, being convicted on 40 federal counts. I mean, it just seems so, it's just so over the top. It just seems so insane that, you know, that it just seems so incongruous with
Yeah.
what you were doing. You know, it just doesn't line up. I mean, is there any insight when going through this trial? I mean,
So
that,
so medical necessity was the one bucket of the charges that they put
hmm,
forward based on this overutilization.
hmm,
The second bucket they put on was sexual assault, rape, and human trafficking. So
what?
they hypothesized that if they can prove that a procedure was, quote, medically unnecessary or
Oh no.
by
Oh,
performed with a device that they didn't like,
mm,
then they charged the doctor with sexual assault,
mm,
um, rape, because it was a gynecologic procedure. And
oh,
mind you, when the procedure was done based on the patient's choice with proper consent, everything.
right. So wait a
Um,
minute, because I'm pretty familiar with the field of medical ethics. I taught that subject for over the course of 25 years in my field of acupuncture and body work and such. Were there any patient complaints?
Zero patient complaints
Oh,
about sexual assault, rape,
mm,
human trafficking related with hysteroscopy, zero.
oh my God,
Um,
that's terrible.
so so they opened the indictment with these salacious charges and
Mm,
basically publicly, destroyed my reputation.
mm,
These charges were leveled in February of 2025. They remained in the docket till
right.
October 25, at which point a federal judge dismissed those charges.
Oh,
That hey, these are medical procedures. They are
yeah,
not, sexual assault, rape, and human trafficking.
right,
Yet,
right.
in the public eye, by that time, they had completely
Oh,
damaged my reputation.
mm,
Um,
wow.
so that brings us to the third bucket of charges that they put down for um, the device adulteration and misbranding.
Hmm,
So they created these three buckets. So they wanted to find something or the other,
right.
get this case going. At
Yeah, it
one,
seems like they're just sort of fishing for something when, there were no patient complaints. I mean, that's remarkable. Yeah, please
yeah,
continue.
the number of counts. So they, came in the clinic to execute a search warrant of the clinic,
Hmm,
and they seized a lot of these devices, a lot of them from literally, trash cans labeled as biohazard waste.
right.
They split each device into two charges, two counts,
Oh,
and that's how they came up with that many counts.
oh,
So
wow.
let's say they seized 16 devices. I mean, every doctor's office has, literally hundreds of devices.
Of course.
So each device was split into adulteration count and a misbranding count.
Right.
They had 16 devices. It became 32 charges.
Oh, wow.
Um, so that's how the trial was run. Basically, there was instruction given, and the government took the position that to find Dr. Kumar guilty,
Hmm.
we don't need to prove that a device was actually used on a patient.
Hmm.
So if you read the online, stuff that is published, you'll see a lot
Sure.
of commentary about reuse of single-use devices.
Right.
But during the trial, government took a position that we are not required to prove use of a device.
Huh.
So you wonder
what-
then,
So what happened to that reusing single-use device charge?
yeah. So the reusing single-use device charge was actually never, going to the jury. It never went to the jury. The jury never assessed utilization of a specific device for a specific patient for any
Hmm.
specific procedure.
Hmm.
So they created these adulteration and misbranding counts, which, by the way, we are still, disputing because of all this doesn't actually make sense how the case
Right.
was ran.
Right.
So we got this verdict, and then after the verdict, we are now in the post-trial proceedings phase,
Right.
where proceedings are under seal.
Oh. Okay.
And therefore, we are, not discussing that because these proceedings.
Right.
under-
Right. Right.
So that's where we are.
Oh boy. So what's next for you, Dr. Kumar?
So next, we are, waiting on some very important decisions,
Hmm.
the under seal proceedings, and then we will determine the next step.
Hmm. Well, so is there a potential for a retrial or appeal or I know I'm sure there's some things you can't talk about at this point, but are there options for appeal or retrial?
Yes. Yeah, both those options are on the table.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Wow. And so
Remember, this case was actually dismissed by the medical board.
wow.
So the
The
medical
whole
board,
thing.
yes, the medical board of
Wow.
Tennessee evaluated everything and conducted a independent investigation,
Right.
interviewed a lot of witnesses, inspected everything.
Right.
They evaluated the evidence sent to them by the FBI,
Right.
and after all the investigation, they said there is no case. So they dismissed
Wow.
the case and
That's
sent
incredible.
a
So
nice
was that brought up at the trial?
It was brought up at the trial. In fact, when the medical board had dismissed the case,
Right.
I basically thought that the case is over.
Right. Of course.
But you have, this peculiar situation here where the medical board, which looks after the medical issues and things like that,
Right.
says that there is no case, and yet the federal prosecution is going on.
Wow. This is just, I don't know, this is like witch hunt kind of, I mean, it's surreal. I'm just so sorry that you've been subjected to all of this medical persecution by the government, not even, I mean, your own medical board, and that's their job, by the way, is to look after, patient safety and so no patient complaints, and your own medical board threw the thing out as being without substance. So I'm so sorry. I mean, this is just such a grave injustice. What can folks do to help you, if there is anything they can do to help you at this juncture where you're evaluating options, and I guess there's sentencing and whatever else is, still to come. Anything people can do to help you at this point?
Yes, please. We are going to share our petition
Oh, great.
that we are appealing for the case to be dismissed. And please sign, support, and circulate the petition. on my behalf. I would be grateful if people can do that.
Great. So how would they find out? Is that something that's available
I'll,
now?
I will
Or
share a link. Yes, it is available,
oh,
and
great.
I'll share a link. I'll email you the link.
Okay. Do you have that available now?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep,
If there's a way to put it into I don't know, you can email it or put it in the Zoom chat,
yeah,
is an idea. And you think you mentioned you had a couple of slides you wanted to share. You could certainly feel free to do that.
yes.
But I'm just so sorry this is happening. I mean, I just have to ask, were you like politically active or so I'm trying to figure out like why would they you didn't do anything wrong. Like why are they going after you? Thank you.
Yeah, actually, I feel like, we treated our patients with dignity and respect, and obviously
Yes, yes.
you don't get to grow. I mean, you run a medical operation yourself as well.
Yeah, 36 years.
Yeah, your clinic doesn't grow unless your patients find your services to be of,
Right, right,
right?
right. Of course, of course.
And so, the government's own database suggested that we were treating 1 in 4 of Medicaid patients.
Right,
So if the patients didn't like our services,
right.
why did they make the choice to come to us, right?
Hmm.
They could go on to, n number of other clinics. Uh,
Hmm.
so obviously, they find our services to be valuable.
Yes,
When the services were actually being provided, the
right,
government also liked it.
right.
They evaluated in all sorts of angles, audits, this and that, like the
Sure.
regular that they do.
Right.
And they congratulated us in looking after their members,
Wow. Yeah,
patients. And you have this after the fact going back and
right.
trying to target us for a procedure that is basically aimed at picking up serious uterine pathology,
Which you
uh,
did. I
which we
mean,
did.
you
Which
you
we did.
picked up some things that, you may save people's lives.
Yeah. In fact, their agent on the stand said that, we started the case thinking that there was fraud going on, that these procedures were not being done.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, you billed for something that didn't happen.
that's right. So he
Oh, okay. But
started
that
the
that wasn't true.
that, but that was not true.
Yeah.
These procedures actually happened, the service was actually provided, and yet they did, just kept going with
Hmm.
the.
Wow. I just can't imagine why. I mean, as I said, other than your practice, have, in recent years, I mean, just trying to think of why this is happening. I mean, and particularly in the current administration like this, I would almost assume, I wouldn't have been surprised as much if this happened, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. But
The case was actually started during the Biden,
oh, well, that makes sense.
era, but then kept going,
Kept going.
kept going.
Wow. Wow. Oh
So
boy.
here I'm going to share with you
Yeah,
uh,
please do.
the couple of very, very important slides
Yeah,
that
please do.
our utilization.
I mean, it seems kind of extreme, even if it was, even if it was true, and I'm not saying it is, but like device cleaning, I mean, you don't send somebody to jail for that.
Yeah, device cleaning has been traditionally a matter of regulation,
Sure, sure.
where if you don't like the device cleaning, what do? You organize cleaning training,
Sure.
uh, cleaning courses,
Yep.
uh, things of that nature. But then also, a question to be asked is that the medical board assessed everything.
Yeah.
The medical board is primarily situated to assess, situations like disinfection, sterilization practices. So another interesting fact I'll tell you about the case is that the government took the position in the case that uterus is a sterile cavity,
Really?
and that that's
Impossible.
That's the position that they took. It is not. It's not a sterile cavity.
No, it couldn't possibly be.
You can Google a term called uterine microbiome.
Yeah, for sure. It's diverse and rich.
That's right. Also, vast majority of the times, the endometrial cavity actually communicates with the vaginal cavity
Right.
through the cervical opening.
Yes.
So it is not a sterile cavity.
No, there's nothing sterile in the human body. I mean,
But-
it's a microbial, we are microbial beings.
Yeah, they took a position that uterus is a sterile cavity,
Mm,
that every instrument that goes in the uterus has to be sterile,
mm-hmm.
and that if an instrument touches air, it becomes dirty.
Mm. Wow. That's
Whereas if you look at the CDC and the FDA guidance and our own society, the AAGL, American Association of Gynecological Laparoscopists,
Yeah.
core that I was following basically clearly says that uterus is not a sterile cavity.
Right.
Hysteroscopes are semi-critical devices. They can be used with high-level disinfection.
Sure, sure.
But using the government definition, they said sterile means sterile. If it is not sterile, it's dirty.
Wow.
So
That's
using that
crazy.
high-level disinfection,
Yeah,
which literally is used millions of times
right.
uh, all across the country, and I'm pretty sure across the globe,
Mm,
basically delegitimize that practice.
of course.
So, we have our theories on probably, people were unable to understand the case that is as complex and nuanced,
Right, right,
but that's kind of how it happened.
right, right. We're and yeah, if you have slides to share, please do.
I just texted you a couple of them. See if
Oh, okay. Are you, let's see. Can they be emailed by any chance? I guess I
Yep,
can move
I'm gonna
over.
email those to you
Uh,
as well.
Yeah, email would be great.
Yeah.
If you're able to.
Yes.
Make it easier to move it over. And you can also share screen as a presenter as well, whatever you like.
Got you. So that's kind of how it all came about.
I mean, I'm using acupuncture needles that are sterile, but you have to expose them to air, obviously, before you insert them into the patient.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is a very different, I mean, what you're doing is a different procedure, obviously. It's than acupuncture, but just the idea that something is dirty once it's exposed to air is absurd.
Yeah. I mean, as a surgeon, pelvic surgeon,
Yeah.
sometimes I would do an operation that goes on for 6 hours, 7 hours.
Mm,
Instruments are in the tray, surgical tray,
right.
touching air all this time.
Oh, okay. I hadn't
Right.
thought of that. Yeah.
So by using that definition, those could become, dirty instruments. But
Mm,
that's how it happens, right?
right.
A surgeon's scalpel touches air all the time
Right.
before it, contacts the skin and things like that.
Yep.
So things of this type.
Oh, it's just so it's just so wrong, what they're doing here. It's just I mean, just the
You know,
fact of the medical board saying there's no case here, and then they're just sort of fabricating. This is what they did to the president, with these ridiculous, lawsuits that were based on nothing. They're just, I mean, it just seems so inappropriate
Yeah.
for this
Um,
level of intervention.
Yeah, during the trial, no specific instrument was proven to be used on any specific patient
Hmm.
on a specific day. We asked for this information a couple of times
Hmm.
through our motions, and the government, took a position that they were not required to prove that the device was actually used.
Mm. Wow.
So
Wow.
just a mere presence of a device
Hmm.
in the clinic, they said, is sufficient to find somebody guilty.
Wow. That's insane.
At
Wow.
which point we, filed a motion that it appears that it's being turned into a crime of intent. That, literally you could have hospitals literally have hundreds of devices laying around here and
Of
there.
course.
Um, so a lot of controversies in the
Oh,
case.
yeah, I would say so. That's incredible. So should I be looking for an email or should I try to work
Yeah,
with
actually,
text?
I am.
Want to share screen?
Yeah,
Whatever,
yeah.
whatever you like.
If you could share your email with me.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you can reply to the email I had sent you, but I can do that again. Um, it'll be right at the top of your email inbox.
Gotcha.
It'll say Zoom link, and you can just hit reply on that. Let me know
Oh,
if that came in or not.
okay. So let's see.
And you can also just share screen from Zoom if you like, whatever you like.
Yeah.
Either way is good.
Got it.
And then we'll need that link, any links you want to share with people for things they can do to help. Is this sentencing thing still happening in a couple of weeks?
It is still on the cards.
Okay.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, if we can do something to help out, before then, especially, but otherwise, we'd love to do that.
Yes. No, thank you so much for everything. And here. Sorry, I'm a little slow on this.
No, you're fine. And again, if it's easier just to email stuff, that's fine. Or I can move it over from the text message to the email as well. Can do that
Yeah.
too.
So if you check the email, you will find the link for the petition, and then the pictures are also coming your way
Oh, great. Thank you.
email as well.
Okay.
In your specialty, do you encounter questions related to microbiome as well?
No, it's, that's not really a thing. I mean, we're just dealing with the skin and that which
Oh,
has its own endogenous microbiome.
right.
But no, we don't really run into microbiome issues. It's more about just making sure you're using sterile needles and clean needle technique and acupuncture. I mean, what I'm doing is, obviously much less invasive, but that's not something that we really run into too much related
Gotcha.
to biome. Let me get this onto the screen here for you, and you can walk us through this. Appreciate
Yes.
that. Okay.
There are a couple of
Yep,
slides
got it.
that I'd like to
Yep,
project.
I'm just getting I've got one in and now I'm getting the second one in. Okay, let me just, oh, wow, this is very helpful. Okay, let me put this on the screen here. And then this one. Okay, got it. So here it comes. Okay, so let's see if that shows up on the screen for you. Is this one of the ones you wanted the endometrial cancer deaths?
That's right. Here, let me see.
Okay, just let me know when you see
Oh,
that on
yes,
the
yes,
screen.
right there. I see
Oh.
that. So this is the data that I was referring to. It is
Yeah.
actually taken from the United States public registry,
Hmm.
and represents data from 2018 through 2022, which is mature data. So
Right.
hence reported to the public registry.
Right.
Notice it is during the COVID time. And you see how uterine
Wow.
cancer is the cancer with the fastest rise
Hmm.
in basically 5-year rate change, mortality,
Mm-hmm.
death
Right.
rate, and this measures the delta change in death rate.
Right.
And so the deaths because of this cancer have risen at a fastest level
Hmm.
when compared to any other cancer in women.
Hmm.
And
Well,
that's
so that would mean you need earlier detection and more screening, right?
obviously, I mean, if you look at this data, it basically tells us that whatever we are doing for endometrial cancer right now is
It's
not
not enough. Right. Right. Right.
the cancer rates are rising, right?
Hmm. For
Um,
sure.
and couple that with basically data in communities where African American communities predominate, where the cancer mortality actually is twice
Right.
when compared to
Oh, okay.
other racial subgroups. And that's
Right.
because they have higher prevalence of obesity, higher prevalence
Hmm.
of fibroids and things of that
Right.
nature.
Right.
Uh, you know, so it's very, very relevant to practices that are located in those areas.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
that really shreds their overutilization claim. I mean, it seems kind of absurd.
yeah, if you take a look at the second slide,
Yep.
that
Yeah, let me
yeah,
know when that shows up for you.
so
There it is. Okay.
so a central point in the trial was that the government charter reviewer
Right.
gave an opinion that, and I'm quoting that directly from the report,
Hmm.
is that um, if the hysteroscopy and endometrial sampling is negative,
Right.
one can reliably rule out endometrial cancer for next 6 months to 12 months.
Hmm.
Okay? Although they didn't provide any peer-reviewed paper, zero scientific evidence, nothing. They provide
Hmm.
zero reference for that claim.
Hmm.
So based on that opinion, if a
So,
patient,
so just to pause there. So what they're saying is if you do the hysteroscopy and it's so-called clean, nothing of concern, that then the patient is expected to not develop it or not need to be reevaluated for 6 to 12 months? Is that what
correct,
they were? Okay,
correct.
but that sounds like this data suggests that that's not true.
So these data are actually actual data from our clinic,
Oh, okay.
right? So here you see a 20-year-old patient
Right?
developed a precancer
Right?
within 2 weeks of negative testing.
Mm, of negative testing.
Of negative testing.
Wow.
Second patient right here, 42 years old,
Mm,
developed endometrial cancer within 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So 2
A-
weeks negative
After a clean scope.
after a clean scope.
Wow.
Third patient, 62-year-old,
Right?
got diagnosed with endometrial cancer within 4 weeks
Mm,
of negative testing.
wow. And the same test.
Same test. Fourth
Wow.
patient, 65-year-old, developed endometrial cancer within 4 weeks of
Mm,
negative testing.
wow. Mm,
And these are not some hypothetical situations. These are
right.
actual data
Mm,
that we have
I'm
seen
amazed.
in our clinic.
Wow. So I mean, I mean, it's not practical to do one of these things every week. But obviously, if it develops that quickly from a clean scope to diagnose cancer, then, at least some type of regular screening would be appropriate.
It basically just tells us a central observation that we have always seen, which is if the patient has risk factors,
Oh,
negative
okay.
test does
Right.
not rule out presence of a cancer definitively, because
Hmm.
if you miss a cancer, the downside of missing a cancer is the patient could die,
Right. Right.
right? So let me tell you a couple of other things related to this data.
Yeah.
When I was doing a fellowship at the Mayo Clinic, we published another paper and it actually came from breast cancer data. So breast cancer is more common than uterine cancer, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And I'm dead sure that most people have seen patients where their mammogram was negative,
Right.
and yet they developed breast cancer.
Yes.
How come? Why? Why did that happen? Right? So that means that they had some findings that the mammogram either didn't pick up, or there were some de novo developments in the tissue that led to development of the cancer despite of
Right.
a mammogram.
Right.
So we applied that idea to endometrial cancer, and we asked a question that, hey, let's see how many patients develop endometrial cancer despite a negative endometrial biopsy.
Right.
So the central question is, if you come to me as a patient and I do endometrial sampling becomes negative, can
Right.
I actually say that, hey, you don't have cancer,
Hmm.
right? So that was
Right.
the central question.
Hmm.
So from Mayo Clinic, we published a data that up to 25% of the patients
Right.
who had endometrial cancer have had a negative endometrial sampling in the past.
Oh, okay.
You follow me?
Yep. Yep.
So we had already published that. So I knew that it happens, it's published, it is part of the scientific peer-reviewed literature.
Right.
And then we see these kind of data on our actual patients.
Right.
And that
Which is consistent with that.
which is consistent with that. So the question is, let's say you develop chest pain, right? You go to the urgent care, they do a EKG. EKG is
Right. Right.
they send you home. A week
Yep.
later, the same thing happens. You go back again. Can they say that, hey, this time you don't have heart attack because a week ago your EKG was negative?
Right. Right.
Meaning, although what happened in the past informs a clinician's judgment,
Hmm.
however,
Sure.
every clinical encounter stands alone. You got to
Right.
evaluate the patient
For
concerns
sure. For
at
sure.
every visit, And so
Hmm.
applying arbitrary utilization criteria based on zero scientific evidence to criminally prosecute somebody, I think, is not appropriate.
Hmm. Right. I would agree completely.
Because if I had told any of these patients that, hey, for next 6 months to 12 months, you're okay,
Right. Right. That would, right.
imagine what would happen.
Yes. Yes. Wow. So, did you say there was a link you were able to share with people? And if you're able to put it in the Zoom chat, otherwise, if you can't, you just email it to me. That would be fine. I just want to make sure folks have something they can do to help you at this
Yeah,
time.
actually, I emailed you the link.
Oh, okay, great. That's great. Let me go grab that.
Yeah.
Here it is. Okay. Got that. Okay. I'm seeing the images. Let's see. Just looking for the link.
Here,
See.
I found it, and
Yeah,
let
feel
me,
free to email it or put it in the Zoom chat, whatever you like. Either
yeah,
way.
let me do the Zoom chat.
Oh, here it
right-
is. This is the petition demand transparency. Got it. This is the change.org link. Is that what I'm looking for?
That's right.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. Well, let's look at that together, and you can explain what this is. Here it is. Okay. Oh, great. So this is a change.org petition. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. Okay. So, okay, good. Good. This is a thing that I would encourage folks to share, fill it out themselves as I will do, and then also share this with everybody you can. The next couple of weeks potentially are significant, perhaps in Dr. Kumar's defense.
Thank you.
So, yeah. Oh boy. Okay. And is there anything else folks can do to help you out with what you're dealing with here, this medical persecution?
Yep. For now, this is all I'm asking is people support,
Okay. Okay.
search, read about the case. Every
Yep.
10 minutes, new cancer gets diagnosed, uterine cancer keeps
Yes.
rising. Hysteroscopy helps to diagnose it early
Yes, for
and
sure.
help me make this case go away.
Yeah, it should go away. I mean, you didn't do anything wrong, and your own medical board agrees. I
Yes,
mean, that's a huge, huge piece of evidence. I mean, your own medical board, and this is what their job is. In part, any board of any profession, in part, is about public protection,
that's right.
and that's
As
partly their job. And so, if they did a full investigation, again, and their bias is like they're looking for stuff. They're looking for evidence of public harm, right? That's in
no,
part their job.
not only that, they're qualified. They do this every day.
Oh, right.
They do
Right.
medical investigations every day. They take
Right.
public complaints,
Right.
patient complaints, this and that.
Right.
They have the necessary expertise,
Yes.
evaluate, the sterilization, disinfection, indication, things of that nature.
Right.
I mean, we depend on the medical board
Of
to inform,
course.
educate us, direct us
That's
as a
right.
license holders.
Mm.
I obviously have complete faith in them.
Yeah, I mean, this is what they do. I mean, and like you said, this is their expertise,
Yeah,
is finding evidence of public harm
yeah,
or risk of public harm,
that's
right?
right.
And they're very qualified to do so, as you point out.
Yeah,
And the
that's their
fact that
job. That is their job.
that's their job, exactly. The fact that they looked at this case in detail, I'm sure this was not a casual review. They did a proper investigation and they found nothing,
That's right.
plus no patient complaints, plus no colleague complaints. It
Yeah,
wasn't like someone else who does what you do. Oh, this guy's a menace. Like that didn't happen. Because a lot of complaints to medical boards are from other practitioners
yeah,
or other healthcare boards in general.
yeah,
And a lot of them are from colleagues
yeah,
who are concerned about a particular practitioner. That didn't happen. No patient complaints. Your own medical board said there's nothing here after doing a full investigation. I mean, this is a witch hunt. I don't know what else to call it. This is just wrong. So we are praying for you. We're sending you our well wishes. We'll certainly fill out that petition, and really, really, we'll be holding an intention that all of this, as you say, goes away, because it shouldn't have happened in the first place. I mean, and even if it was like a bot that just flagged you for a wrong reason, once people get involved, they wait a minute, there's nothing here. I mean, the fact that they've pushed forward on this, which is really weak evidence and just, nothing, you didn't kill anybody, right? This
zero
was,
patient deaths.
hmm?
During the trial, zero patient death, zero
Right.
infection were presented.
Well, and you probably saved some lives doing
I
the
did.
screen, doing the procedure.
Yep.
Oh,
We save
I'm so
numerous
sorry.
lives by diagnosing and removing
Yeah.
these cancers.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry, Sanjeev. We will do all we can to help here, and we'll be putting this out widely as we can to help with your cause. I mean, this is just really wrong. So, yeah, and anything else you wanted to share with us, Sanjeev, just to feel complete for today?
No, we're good. Thank you so much again for the opportunity, and I thank everybody's time
Of
who
course.
joined the call.
Yeah,
And feel free to reach out if there are any other questions.
great.
But mostly, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjeev. Right, we're pulling for you, praying for you, and really and holding a vision of you of this, nonsense going away soon.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you again.
All right.
All right. Well, good. So we're really there's the link in the chat. Also, copy this over to our watch page, and let's get some more signatures in his defense for what's been happening here. And boy, oh boy, wow, that's just really terrible. So, okay. So just a couple of things and we'll be done today. Thank you, everybody. I want to give you a few links. Let me know if anybody's on the watch page. Please let me know that in the watch page chat. That would be great. And then just a couple of, we're going to be hearing from our scheduled guest today as soon as we can. First thing is she's got to get all better. She's in a bad way at the moment, health-wise. That happened rather suddenly. But I just wanted to give you a few links, and also this is, she's had she is a vaccine injured, basically a tech executive who was vaccine injured with routine travel shots for foreign travel. And so I'll just bring this up for you. You've got some links to please click on so you can learn a little bit more about our guest coming up. As soon as we can get her rescheduled, we will do that. But first thing is that she's doing better, So this is Alex Mayer. She was interviewed on Epoch Times. Very good interview on Epoch Times, which you can listen to there. All these links are in the Zoom chat. And this is her organization, the Free Now Foundation. I'll be doing a fundraising webinar for the foundation soon. We may have to postpone the one scheduled for Wednesday. We'll keep you posted on that. But this is a wonderful organization defending medical freedom, which is very much our topic here. She has an excellent Substack on her medical freedom newsletter that you can read and enjoy. And she's pretty remarkable, super smart lady and very courageous, and she knows how to get stuff done because she was very effective in fundraising for Bobby Kennedy's campaign, and was the co-founder of the Children's Health Defense California chapter. And given the brutal tyranny, so in a way, in what I call California, so many people have fled the just worst state leadership in the country by far. Millions of people have fled, thousands of businesses, and she has stayed to reclaim freedom in her rather tyrannical state, which we saw on display with COVID and their absence of vaccine exemption. She's taking her considerable abilities and talents and just smarts and bringing this to bear in a very kind of unfree venue of her state of what I call California sometimes. But anyway, it's going to be really looking forward to that conversation. Also, you saw in today's email that went out the link to my appearance on her show, which went really well. And as she pointed out, some of these clips really went viral. and they are here. This is the show. I'll put this in the, it was a great interview, and you can click on that link to see that show. And it was a great conversation that we had about a range of subjects related to the lack of safety evidence of vaccines, the mythology of herd immunity, which has never happened from vaccination. It's impossible. And a range of other subjects. So please enjoy that interview when I was on her show, and we'll get her on as soon as we can. Just send her some good chi as well for her healing and recovery, and we'll see her soon. So thanks, everybody. Blessings to you and yours. Thanks for being with us today. And many thanks to all of you who have been supporting the show, which you can make a direct contribution to. I know some of you are doing that monthly or one time of any amount. And you can also support the show by having a consultation, purchasing a course with your discount. Please join us for our current cardiovascular course. It's really quite good, and on cardiovascular health. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week with Ian Trottier. A little bit off piste for us, kind of a little bit of an experiment for me. Seeing, we're kind of departing from our natural health freedom topics to go into some other territories. So let me know what you think, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, everybody. Take care.